Hey guys, today we're going to be watching and reading Vampire Friends by Veronica Page. You actually got to read a little bit more about this character when we read in class Veronica, Queen of the Dead. So just a quick recap, we had her friend Shanika talking about how Veronica likes to look like a vampire. And she actually says, I think it makes her feel safe, like if she looks dangerous, people will keep their distance. But today we're going to be looking at the poem Vampire Friends that's actually written by Veronica instead of about Veronica, so it's a first-person poem. And we get to see a little bit more of her side of the story. So first thing we need to do is check out the page because with art like this, there's also some illustrations that give us some hints. So we do have some of the vampire motif, like the coffin and the bat and the fangs. But we also have kind of the self-portrait sketched in here. And if you just will notice, her face is actually hidden by part of her hair, which should kind of be a clue to us that maybe she's not as outgoing as she seems, that maybe she's hiding behind that veil of her hair a little bit, that maybe there's a little bit more going on. So it's been a few days since you guys have read the poem. So first things first, let's take a look and read the poem. Now remember, you're tracking with me and building up those reading fluency skills as we go. Vampire Friends by Veronica Page. It's those who are close who will hurt you the most, like my friend Tierney. Girl, don't look at me like that, she said. Like what? I asked. You know, she said, that vampire stare like you're about to bite my neck. Or my friend Juan. Veronica, he said, I figured out why your hair is always a mess. You don't make a reflection when you look in the mirror. How can they be so insensitive? Just because my clothes are all black, I dye my hair purple, and I carry with me at all times a very cool pair of Hollywood vampire fangs. It's my personal style. I call it vampire chic. But it's those who are close who will hurt you the most, as they deal with their own egomania. While they chatter and chat, I'll turn into a bat and fly back to my dear Transylvania. So, looking at our poem all together, we have 4 stanzas. Remember, stanzas are the paragraph of the poem, and each one has a little bit of an idea all on its own. So, our first stanza is here, our second stanza with her friend Juan, our third stanza, and then the last one ending it up. So, with each stanza, just like with each paragraph, there's always its own central idea. So, paragraph 1, it's those who are close who will hurt you the most. And we have her friend Tierney, who says something rather insulting to her. And then we have her friend Juan, who is another example of something that hurts her feelings. Then she kind of explains what they're misunderstanding. And in the last paragraph, stanza, she tells us what she's going to do with that feeling and how she's kind of going to just rise above that and let that go. So if we had to look at themes that were going on in the poem, we notice that there are 2 parts of the poem that repeat themselves. It's those who are close who will hurt you the most. Okay? And in that first stanza, she gives us an example of that very same statement. So if this were a paragraph, this would kind of act like our topic sentence. Then we see again in the last stanza, but it's those who are close who will hurt you the most. She's actually come out and stated her message that people close to us often know how to hurt us more than those who we would consider our enemies. Okay? But if it's truly the theme, we should be able to find some other evidence of the same theme. So if we'll look, it's her friend, Tierney, who said something hateful. Her friend Juan was the one who hurt her in stanza 2, and she actually rephrases it. How can they be so insensitive? And she's pointing out that they're not being sensitive to her feelings at all. Okay? And she even says, just because, and then lists several examples of how she might be different than the rest of the kids at school. She said it's her personal style. It's her vampire chic. She's pointing out that they've completely misunderstood. It's those who are close who will hurt you the most. Now she talks about her friend's egomania. And if we look this word up, we find out that the ego is the sense of self. So egomania is when someone is too concerned with themselves. So she's saying that her friends are so absorbed in their own witty comments about her and about how different she is that they're not thinking about what they say and how it might hurt her. Now, she says that they chatter and they chat. Now, think about the connotations of those words. If we're talking to someone and it's a meaningful conversation, we usually don't use the words chatter and chat. Those are kind of demeaning and putting that down. So she's saying that everything they say just really isn't important at all and how she's kind of going to let that roll off her shoulders. Now, she also has the image at the end where she goes from serious and realistic to something that we know she can't actually do, where she says she'll turn into a bat and fly back to her dear Transylvania. So she's playing into the vampire theme, but when someone is flying back or flying away from something, we know it's something that's uncomfortable and somewhere they don't want to be. So she's saying that she doesn't actually want to be with the same two people she called her friends in stanza 1 and stanza 2. And she's wanting to get away from it, to be her personal self, which we have here. Now, all of the things that we just highlighted are proving the same theme. Those who are close to her are also the ones who are hurting her. It's a pretty simple theme, nice and short, but it's also a really powerful one when we're talking about our friends in light of everything that her friend Shanika said in the poem that we read in class.